Good evening, I'm Sharon Thomas. Police say a man arrested for allegedly contaminating supermarket products in West London acted alone. 3 stores in Fulham are still closed tonight, while forensic teams investigate what was used to contaminate packaged food, including processed meats and microwave meals, with a number of needles last night. Customers who bought products from the Tesco Express, Little Waitrose and Sainsbury's Local are being told to throw them away. From Fulham, Martin Stew has the latest.
Police tape outside, police forensics inside. Tesco Express, Sainsbury's Local and Little Waitrose on Fulham Palace Road remain closed tonight as investigators try and establish which food has been contaminated and by what. It was at 20 to 8 last night. A man was arrested after staff raised the alarm they thought needles were being used to inject microwave meals and processed meat. This morning, cooked chicken slices were labelled as a health hazard. Forensic officers are yet to establish exactly what risk the contaminated food poses.
We are not aware of anybody who has been contaminated as a result of this incident yet, but we do appeal to any members of the public that if they feel unwell, then they should contact their GP for advice.
Ida believes he was verbally assaulted by the same man who threw a plant pot at his restaurant.
He was coming from Tesco, yeah, when he picked up the plant in front of me, swearing it, and then he just walked away like going to Hammersmith station, yeah.
And did he seem calm or was he agitated?
No, he was agitated and he was still swearing on me, yeah.
He was swearing at you?
Yeah, he was swearing on me, yeah.
Unsurprisingly, there's alarm from those who shop here.
We're only just recently being allowed to sort of come back into the shops without sort of wearing masks and stuff, and then something like that. That's awful.
It is a bit concerning that someone would want to go out there and do that anyway. It's a bit strange.
You don't know when something like that could happen. I mean, right now, I could walk into the shop and contaminate things and walk out and nobody would know. That gentleman last night was obviously very distressed and upset. So it became obvious that there was something wrong with him.
Well, supermarkets say they're working closely with the police. At the moment, they're going through the CCTV from inside the stores to try and piece together exactly what happened. They're also going through data from the checkout, things like information from club cards, to try and get in touch with anybody who was in the shops last night and may potentially have bought food that could possibly have been contaminated.
The advice is for anyone who bought any food from these 3 stores last night to throw it away. Refunds will be given.
We tend to get our lunch from these supermarkets.
MP Andy Slaughter's office is round the corner. He thinks for the sake of confidence, all stock should be cleared.
So I think for public reassurance, 3 supermarkets involved here, and I think one of them already has, we're going to say, well, we're going to clear the shelves, we're going to start afresh as far as these stores go.
Police say they believe whoever did this was acting alone. Martin Stew, ITV News.
A man killed in a suspected homophobic attack in East London has tonight been named by officers. Ranjith Kakalamalge was found dead in Tower Hamlets Cemetery Park last Monday. He was discovered with severe head injuries. His death is being treated as a homophobic hate crime. Patrols in the area have been increased. Following days of disruption by protesters from Extinction Rebellion, today came the pushback. The leader of Westminster Council, Rachel Robothon, wrote a strongly worded letter to City Hall outlining her deep concerns, calling for clear action to keep disruption to a minimum. Those caught up in the chaos echoed her views, as our political correspondent Simon Harris reports.
For 4 days, activists have targeted central London. Demonstrations by supporters of Extinction Rebellion have closed roads and disrupted lives and businesses. Yesterday, Haz Ahmad's taxi got stuck in the gridlock. He's had months of uncertainty about his health and was going for an MRI scan. He missed his appointment.
I believe in climate change. I think everyone should, and I think Extinction Rebellion may have some good aims, but the way to go around it, disrupting ordinary people's lives, especially after 2 years in COVID, everyone's had their medical appointments delayed and so many people have had to rearrange their life around things.
The leader of Westminster City Council has written to London's Deputy Mayor for Policing, saying, "I would welcome clear action from you and the police to improve access for our residents, businesses and those visiting our city."
Nobody is in denial that we have a climate crisis and we've all got to work together to tackle climate change. But to bring central London to a standstill, to disrupt local people's lives, to stop local businesses being able to recover after COVID, it's unacceptable.
Today's disruption started at Hyde Park Corner, where activists set off on a march towards Westminster. Once again, traffic ground to a halt.
I think they should get a proper job, have a bath, and stop breaking up, making the traffic in London worse, you know. We've all got a right to demonstrate, mate, but they're stopping everyone working.
But Extinction Rebellion was making no apologies.
Blocking a few road junctions, it isn't bringing London to a halt at all. It's bringing a couple, there's 11,000 road junctions in London. I think this is, when you look at the bigger scheme of things, this is a tiny amount of disruption.
Tonight, an organisation calling itself Animal Rebellion claimed responsibility for a paint attack on the fountains in front of Buckingham Palace. The group said it was part of the 2 weeks of direct action promised by Extinction Rebellion. Simon Harris, ITV News, Westminster.
As you've been hearing, 12 US troops and scores of civilians have died in 2 explosions at Kabul airport. Earlier today, the Home Secretary was at Heathrow meeting some of the last Afghan refugees to escape before the attacks. Priti Patel welcomed around 370 people who flew into Terminal 4 before they were processed by Border Force. The attacks have sent shockwaves around the world, and here in London, many people are living in fear for their families back in Afghanistan. Yousef Mahmoud's wife was one of those fortunate enough to escape the country, but his cousins are still there. They're musicians, and he believes any rerun of draconian laws threatening the arts will put them in serious danger, as Rachel Brown reports.
As he sings this prayer, Yousef has at least one thing to be thankful for. He is a London-based Afghan musician, and his wife and Ariz's mum, who was stuck in Kabul, has just escaped and arrived back in the UK.
Thank God I got her here, yeah. She got in a plane and then she landed yesterday.
But he remains desperately worried about his cousins, who are also musicians, if the Taliban ban music as they did before.
If they start again to be like in the past, so all these people will die because they're gonna get killed. They're calling me every day more than 50, 60 times, and they always begging, like, please do something.
The organisation Conservative Friends of Afghanistan is hearing worrying reports already.
We are being contacted on a daily basis from people on the ground who are telling us that the Taliban have either asked for them, asked where they live.
There are fears the murder of this comedian by the Taliban is a sign of what is to come, and they are campaigning the government for artists to be included among those allowed to resettle here, and urgently.
Priti Patel has said that 5,000 of these Afghan citizens can resettle this year and the rest next year, but what she fails to understand is that many of them may not actually survive in the next couple of weeks or even, by next year.
Yousef cannot imagine a life without music or his cousins, and is pleading for support.
We need some support from Musician Union, from the Art Council, Ministry of Culture in UK, to somehow find a way to get these musicians out of Kabul before they die.
Rachel Brown reporting. Finally, Dimitri Kutia from Ealing has become the first Londoner to win a medal at the Paralympics in Tokyo. He took bronze after beating Belarusian Andrei Pravenic 15-11 in the Category B wheelchair fencing this morning. His mother Nellie couldn't be more proud.
We've spoken to him very briefly after he finished his match, but obviously he had to go to do an interview. Since he was a teenager, his dream was to win a medal at the Paralympics. We're very happy and proud of him.
Congrats to him. Now let's take a look at the weather. Here's Sally.
Making the most of it, whatever the weather. Octopus Energy sponsors ITV London weekday weather.
Hello there and good evening to you. I hope you've had a lovely Thursday. It's been quite cloudy today and it's going to be quite cloudy tomorrow as well. but hopefully we'll have a few more sunny spells on offer and just a tiny bit warmer. And we are keeping settled weather as we go through the next few days, with high pressure still staying in place. So back to tonight, quite a lot of clear skies outside. Unlike last night where we had a lot more cloud, the temperatures will probably drop down a little bit further tonight, so it may well get down to single figures out in the countryside. And then tomorrow we do it all again, but as I said, with a touch more sunshine breaking through that cloud. But that cloud still is quite dominant. Might be slightly less breezy tomorrow, and so as a result, with all those conditions, the temperature's just a little bit warmer, highs of 19 to 22 degrees. And for your all-important Friday night, well, it looks like it'll stay dry. Sunset is at nearly 8 o'clock, and a few breaks in those clouds, so you might get a little bit of evening sunshine. Now, for the outlook, on Saturday, there's the odd chance of a shower out to the east, but most places staying completely dry, and the best of the weather heading our way on Sunday. Have a lovely evening, good night, and sleep well.
Octopus Energy sponsors ITV London weekday weather.
That's it from us. I'll be back on air tomorrow from just after 6 o'clock in Good Morning Britain. From all of us here, very good night.